Hello everybody and welcome to today's travel update for July 18th, 2020. And before I get started with this video, if you like the content on this channel, please consider subscribing. If you like today's video, place a thumbs up on there. And if you want to get notifications for whenever I do upload in the future, hit that bell notifications so you get all of those updates as soon as you possibly can. Now on to the update. Alright, we're going to start off here a little bit differently this time. We usually start off with the National Hurricane Center, but because it still says the same things as the last 2 days, I'm just not going to show that at all. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through a few pages here on Mike's weather page to get some really good up-to-date info for you guys on what's going on in the tropics, in the Atlantic for right now. And the last few things I'm going to show off are these models here. We're gonna go over that and the water temperatures too, for the graphs here for the Nino 3.4 region and the MDR region. So we're gonna take a look here at the wind shears here, and as you can see, there are a few red spots popping up here, but they're not as big as what they used to be, say like a week or two ago, because these trade winds are really backing off now. And that's what's going to cause these reds and yellows to lose their oomph over time. As you can see, the greens are starting to take over here in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, and most of the southwestern Atlantic and the MDR region. So most of these regions are good to go, besides these few couple of areas here and right there and right here. Um, we're getting to that point in time where the wind shears are going to die down pretty much to almost nothing, probably 5 to 10 knots. That's when we're really going to need to take watch of these waters here going forward. It's going into August. If you want my opinion, though, I think we're going to see at least one more storm in July. At least one more. I'm taking that to the bank for my prediction here. Alright, speaking of wind shear, this is another graph of the wind shear here, but this is in the Caribbean alone here. And as you see, this black line is pretty much the average of the wind shear in the area throughout the year. And obviously we started off here at the start of the year at like 15 knots of wind, and then it just spiked up to like 40 knots, and then it's been pretty much on a constant downward trend ever since. And right now we're about at eight knots of wind shear, which is way below the long-term average here. So the long-term average is about 15 knots. So we're getting pretty down there and pretty low. And storms love this kind of wind shear here, where it's almost non-existent in reality. So if a system that's trying to develop ever comes through here, the wind shear is definitely on its side. And we'll definitely be seeing proof of that going forward here in just due time. All right, let's take a look at the moisture in the atmosphere here. And as you can see, there is plenty of rich moisture here in the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and the Atlantic here. You see a few areas of lighter shades here, which indicate minimal dry air here. But as you can see, rich dark moisture here, rich deep moisture here, rich deep moisture down here in the southern Caribbean. It's everywhere. And storms love moisture. We all know that, because that's the way they get their start, is the moist waters, the moist air. The more of that you get, the more chance you have of actual tropical cyclone genesis. So this is something we're going to have to keep watch on going forward here over the coming weeks and months to come, as we still got the peaks of the season in August, September, and October. So we still got 3 solid more months of having to worry about major systems coming through these areas of very deep, rich moisture. Alright, well, here's take a look at some of the different sea surface temperature maps here. As you can see, these oranges indicate 25 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius here. And as you can see, the 25 to 30 degrees Celsius lines spread out almost the entire Atlantic basin, and that's not good. That's really not good. Um, as you can see, these 25-degree isobars even go as uh, far south as right in here, like below the equator, and that's where we start to really cool off a little bit because we're getting near going down closer to the South Pole and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about the Atlantic, and as you can see, most of these areas are prime for development here, and we're gonna start seeing that here in short order of what's gonna happen with these water temperatures and storms as they feed into these temperatures here. And then you thought the Atlantic MDR was hot. Take a look at the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean here. You got 30-degree plus Celsius waters all around. So this is why I'm worried about Category 5s happening this year, maybe 2 or 3. You know, the water temperatures are definitely there. We just got to get a system that doesn't have as much dry air or wind shear in it, and I think they're really gonna blow up because of these water temperatures. And another thing that we're gonna look at here in just a second is the upper ocean heat content, and we're gonna go to that page right now. The upper ocean heat content is pretty much warm water with depth. So the lower you go down, the warmer it still is. Um, and that's what fuels these hurricanes and tropical systems is the warm waters and the warm waters with depth, because as you can see, some of these numbers are off the hook here. They're off the chart. They're literally off the chart here, and this is worrying. Think about this. We're only in July right now. July. We're mid July. We are only a month and a half into the hurricane season, and look at these upper ocean heat contents. We got 150 here. We got 150 in here. The MDR is starting to warm up pretty nicely. You got the Gulf of Mexico trying to warm up pretty nicely. It's just all around, and you can see the outlier of my cursor here is showing where the upper ocean heat content actually goes out. So this ain't just contained down here to the main development spots. This is also going up in here into the subtropics as well. So we may see some enhanced subtropical activity going into the future just because of this upper ocean heat content that is starting to spread out here in the subtropics. But this is going to be our main worry right here is if a storm tracks right in the middle of the Caribbean and goes into the Gulf of Mexico, or travels like this right into the warm MDR and keeps going to the western MDR and goes into the southwestern part of the Atlantic and maybe go into Florida. This is recipe for disaster here. And as I told you guys yesterday, I'm not here to fearmonger. That's not what I do. I'm just showing you guys what I see with my very own eyes here, and what I see is not good stuff. It's really not. Um, I've been tracking these systems and paying attention to the tropics for the past 20 years. So when I see something isn't normal, and this is not normal, then I know we're in for some bad stuff. So I'm gonna be here at every step of the way, and I'm gonna give you guys the latest updates every single day. All right, here is another look at a different way to look at the sea surface temperatures, pretty much. As you can see here, most of the Atlantic is 1 degree above the long-term average here. You do got some zeros popping up here and there, where it's neutral, pretty much neutral. Um, but most of it is running above the long-term average here, and there you even see some of the 1.5 lines picking up here too. If you ask me, I would not be surprised if we see 2 degrees above average going into August, September, and October, because those are the hottest parts of the year. So I can see these temperatures really soaring a lot higher than they are now, because you got the angle of the sun, which is pretty much at its highest angle during the summertime, and the hot temperatures that go along with it. So, that's going to be another recipe for disaster here as we go out through time. All right, here we are with the tropical testing index here, and as you can see here, um, it's pretty much all favorable, besides a few select areas here, like the Bahamas, near the Bahamas. That's unfavorable to semi unfavorable. Um, you got the parts of the Puerto Rican and border that is not particularly uh, favorable. But then you got these deep reds. These are highly favorable areas for tropical development here. And as you can see, the Eastern Caribbean going into the southwestern main development region. You got the whole middle Caribbean, northwest Caribbean. You got the Gulf of Mexico, and parts of the southwestern Atlantic that is highly favorable for tropical storm activity going forward. And I do believe that these greens and yellows are going to start vanishing here in due time as we go farther into like August, where storms start to really pick up in intensity. And here we are. We're gonna be looking at this like air and air layer here, and as you can see, it's pretty light right now. We do got a big bloom of dust that's planning on coming off here at around the 21st, but I don't think that's gonna really get that far. But as you can see, it's mostly in the lighter shades, colors here, which you know this ain't gonna do much. The lighter shades aren't gonna do much to hinder any development. It's when you get to these darker colors here uh, that it's really gonna choke off any moisture in the storm itself. So you know, as I said, you know, it's all about August, man. Once we get into August, the Sierra and air layer is gonna die down rapidly, and that's when we're gonna see the main development region really open up here. All right, now usually I take a look at the models first, but I wanted to get all the statistics out of the way first. So now we're going to take a look at the models, or well, one model in particular, because the GFS and the Euro aren't picking up anything at this moment. But as you guys know, that changes from run to runs. But the CMC has been consistent with showing something popping up in the MDR region, whether it's big or small. It's been consistent the last two or three model runs. So we're gonna go out through time here. And we're gonna see what happens here. And this is our system we're watching right here. This 1011 millibar pressure system right here. And we're gonna go out here. And as you can see, it goes down to 8, and then it starts to really pick up some steam here going forward. That, my friends, is probably a tropical depression. This is going about 7 days out. Normally I keep the only 5, but the last two videos I've been going out 7, 10 days out. But we're gonna keep it right here at 7 because this is all we need to see to really be concerned about something maybe trying to develop in the MDR region. Um, as you can see, this is 1,006 millibars here, and that's pretty much a low end tropical depression, or maybe a mid grade tropical depression. As we go out into day 7 time frame, we're just gonna have to see how this pans out here going forward. Besides that, we really don't have anything in the Atlantic to worry about at this current point in time until we see if this tropical wave actually decides to do something. All right, the last few things I'm going to look at is the charts for the Nino 3.4 region and the MDR region. As you can see here, the Nino 3.4 region really has taken a nosedive from mid-April to end of May, and then it started going back up again. And now we're back up on a downward slope here. We're now finally back into the negatives after being out of the negatives for the past almost month now. And I do believe that this trend will continue to drop as we go throughout time because of the trade winds in the equatorial Pacific is going to start cooling down those waters again. Um, but this is pretty indicative of a neutral, a cool neutral, at least for the peak of the hurricane season. I do predict the cool neutral to happen, and you know, to be honest, from what I've been hearing, cool neutral is even more favorable for the Atlantic than say La Nina. I've been hearing that. That's the word on the street. So we're just gonna have to see what this brings. This cool neutral brings in the August, September, and October. But as I said, I'll keep you guys updated on that. Anyways, here's the MDR chart, and as you can see, it's been pretty much above the threshold for neutral. So it's been pretty much in a warm neutral going up to what we call the Atlantic El Nino. So yeah, we're about plus 518 degrees above the long term average here, and that's pretty good. That's pretty warm. And I do believe it looks like this trend is going to continue going up because that's a pretty big steep climb up here. So they may have to move these charts up if this trend continues. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. I will have more updates for you guys tomorrow, and have a nice day.